All right, let's get right into it. If you're using ChatGPT for work or school, you already know it can be a massive time saver. But are you getting results you can actually trust? That's the real trick, isn't it? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down a super simple framework to help you get more reliable, more useful, and just plain better answers from the AI.
Oh, you've definitely been there, right? You ask what seems like a simple question, and ChatGPT gives you an answer that is so confident and just completely wrong. Yeah, researchers have a name for that. They call it an AI hallucination. It's probably one of the biggest headaches with these tools, and it's exactly what we're going to learn how to get under control today.
Okay, Chapter 1, Setting the Right Expectations. Look, before we do anything else, we got to be on the same page. To use any tool right, you have to know what it's actually for. So let's start with the absolute basics, what ChatGPT is great at, and what it really can't promise. So think of the AI as a really smart assistant, not some all-knowing oracle. It's fantastic for stuff like brainstorming, summarizing your notes, or drafting a quick email. But, and this is a big but, when it comes to things that need to be factually accurate, you've got to be super careful. See, the AI doesn't actually know things. It's more like a super-powered predictive text. It's just guessing the next word that's most likely to come next. And that's exactly why it can just make up facts and sources with 100% confidence. So here it is. This is the big one. If you only remember one thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. For any important work, you and only you are responsible for fact-checking what it gives you. The AI is the tool, but you're the one in the driver's seat. Always. Chapter 2, your 3 layers of control. Okay, so how do we stop just crossing our fingers and hoping for a good answer and start actually controlling the outcome? This brings us to the absolute heart of this whole thing, a really simple way to think about how you take charge of the AI. I want you to think about it like this. You've got 3 different layers of control. You've got your in-the-moment instructions. That's what you type right into the chat box. Then you have your always-on preferences that work in the background. And finally, you have these specialized, custom-built versions of the AI for very specific jobs. Let's break down each one. So, layer 1 is your prompt. It's the most direct, most powerful way you can steer the conversation. It's simple, really. A fuzzy, vague prompt is going to get you a fuzzy, vague answer. But a really sharp, specific prompt, that's your first step to getting a sharp, specific response. And here's a super simple recipe for a great prompt. Just think about these 5 ingredients. First, the role. Who should the AI be? Next, the task. What should it actually do? Then, context. What background info does it need? Constraints. Are there any rules like word count or tone? And finally, the output format. How do you want the answer back? In bullet points? A table? Just using this structure will make a huge difference, I promise. All right, on to layer 2. Custom instructions. This one is a massive time saver. Think about it. Instead of having to explain your preferences in every single prompt, you just set them one time in your settings, and ChatGPT remembers them for all your future chats. It's pretty amazing. So, what kind of stuff should you put in there? Well, think about the things you find yourself typing over and over again. Maybe it's your preferred tone, like always sound professional but friendly, or common formatting, like always use bullet points for lists. You can even add key facts about your job or your company. And this is a big one. You can add guardrails like do not invent quotes. This saves you so much repetitive typing. And that brings us to layer 3, the most advanced one, custom GPTs. The best way to think about a custom GPT is like a specialized employee you've trained for one very specific job. For example, your general custom instructions might say, always be formal. But you could build a special social media whiz GPT and tell it to always be casual and funny. You can even give it documents like your brand's style guide so it always stays on point. And this right here, these 3 layers, is the answer to a super common mystery. If you've ever wondered why you and a coworker can type the exact same prompt and get totally different answers, this is why. They might have different custom instructions set up, or maybe they're using a custom GPT that's giving the AI a whole bunch of extra context before it even sees the prompt. Chapter 3, Choosing Your Response Mode. Okay, so we've talked about how to give instructions. Now let's get practical and talk about a choice you have to make inside the app for different kinds of tasks. Just a quick heads up here, this part about specific response modes isn't from the core source material for this explainer. You know how it is. AI features change all the time, so definitely double check these options in your own app. We're just including it as a general best practice.
All right, here's a super simple rule of thumb. If what you're doing is low stakes, like rewording a sentence or brainstorming some post ideas, go with instant for a quick answer. If it's something complex or where accuracy really matters, like analyzing a research paper, you want to give the AI more time to think. And hey, if you're just not sure, start with auto and let it figure it out.
Chapter 4, How to Fact Check the AI. So, we've set our expectations, we know how to control the input, now for what might be the most critical skill of all, checking the output. How do you actually get the AI to show you its homework? First off, you have to remember that your prompt is just the tip of the iceberg. The AI's answer is being shaped by so much more. It's looking at the entire chat history, your global custom instructions, any files you might have uploaded, and of course, the specific custom GPT you're using. All those things are working together to create the answer. So how do you poke and prod to see what's real? You have to challenge it directly. Use prompts just like these. Ask it, list the sources you used. Or get even more specific. Quote the exact line you relied on. And here's a really powerful one. Label your assumptions versus the facts in your response. This forces it to be so much more transparent.
Chapter 5, 2 Prompts to Steal. Okay, let's pull all this together. I'm going to give you 2 practical copy and paste templates you can start using literally right now.
First up, the quick question template. This is perfect when you just need to understand something new fast. Notice how specific it is? It asks for the format, 3 bullet points, and defines the audience, a beginner. That forces the AI to give you a much clearer, more focused answer. And here's the template for a more complex task. See what's happening here? It's literally just that 5-part recipe we talked about earlier. It sets the role, the task, the constraints, and the output format. This level of detail is how you get a professional, ready-to-use result, often on the very first try.
Chapter 6, Your Reliability Checklist. All right, we have covered a ton of ground, so let's boil it all down to one simple final checklist you can use every single time you start a new chat.
Here you go, the whole process in 5 easy questions. Before you hit enter, just run through this in your head. Did I give it a role? Did I provide context? Did I set constraints? Did I specify the format? And then, the most important part, after you get the answer, did I verify it? This little checklist is what turns you from just a passive user into someone who's confidently directing the AI.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. What is one repetitive, annoying task in your workflow right now that you could tackle with this framework? Go on, think of one. Because finding that first task is how you really start to use this tool effectively and responsibly.